This is a immigration news flash for those of you who are from immigrant communities or you're concerned about what is going on with immigration. Please pass this video on. Please listen carefully. The state of Florida in the United States of America is pushing to become the most hostile place for illegal migrants or immigrants to reside. With that being said, its Governor DeSantis, is behind a push for a bill that is called SB 1718. Go and look up SB 1718, or you can listen to this video and I will explain to you what SB 1718 entails. 1718 has just been passed. 1718 has just been passed. 1718 has just been passed. The name of the bill is 1718. SB 1718. SB 1718. Welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. For those of you who follow me in the morning for our live morning show, you know that I've spoken to you about this SB 1718 on two separate occasions. One, when it was first a brainchild, when it was being thought of. Two, when it was being deliberated and passed around. Three is today, this video, which is here to tell you that SB 1718 has been passed. For those of you who don't know what it entails, please listen carefully. Shout out to Politico.com for this one. Florida GOP passes a sweeping anti-immigration bill that gives Governor DeSantis, which is the governor of Florida, $12 million for migrant transports. We will explain everything. A Florida Republican on Tuesday handed Governor Ron DeSantis another legislative victory after lawmakers signed off on a sweeping anti-immigration measure that will guarantee millions of dollars for a controversial program the governor has used to fly migrants from Texas to Martha's Vineyard. DeSantis, who is expected to announce a run for president in the coming weeks, has repeatedly faulted President Joe Biden's immigration policies and regularly criticizes the administration's handling of the surge of migrants that are crossing into the U.S. at the southern border. The governor and his Republican allies contended that the newly approved bill will send a message to the Biden administration, while Democrats countered the legislation was overtly cruel and intimidating to migrants. So what was going on there basically is the Republicans are saying we're done with this immigration stuff, illegal immigrants just pouring in to our borders. And the Democrats are saying, okay, we're sick of it too, but we need to handle this in a humane manner. Some of these people are running away from prosecution, their persecution. They could end up dead. There are children among them. Let's sort it out properly. Well, Governor Ron DeSantis, along with his Republican allies, are saying, F that. We don't have time for all that. We simply do not want you coming across the border. So we're going to make it very hostile for you when you come across the border, to include, if we catch you, shipping you out of here from this state to somewhere else, right? And that is where the $12 million will come in to start him off with that program, where he will be sending illegal immigrants, if caught, shipped out of the state of Florida. The Republicans were saying this is overtly cruel and intimidating to migrants. Governor Ron DeSantis and the governor and his allies are saying, we don't give a damn if it's cool. We're not trying to be cruel, but we don't care if it's cruel. We just don't want it. Okay, House lawmakers have approved the measure after debating for 90 minutes. Let me say that again. The measure has been approved. Yes. The House lawmakers have approved the measure after debating for 90 minutes. All came down with bill sponsor Representative Kean Michael, a Jacksonville Republican who was elected last year, recounting how someone who had entered the country illegally had killed her 21-year-old son in a car accident while all her son was doing was heading to the bank to cash his check, his work check. And an illegal immigrant operating a vehicle took her son's life in a vehicular accident. That was what they used to drum up emotional support, and the bill went through. The price of illegal immigration cost us everything, said Michael, who won a GOP primary last year with the help of an endorsement by DeSantis. So now Michael is here to support DeSantis and his push to make Florida, the state of Florida, a very hostile place for immigrants to be. There is not an ounce of malice in my heart. I just want it to stop. It has to stop. And it is insane if we are waiting on Washington, D.C., which is the White House, to do something when we can do something our own. But Republican Susan Valdez, a Tampa, or Representative Susan Valdez, a Tampa Democrat whose parents migrated to the U.S. from Cuba, she contended the bill. She said that this bill is going to demonize and marginalize people. Immigrants are people just like us, except did not have the fortunes to be in the United States of America, is what she said. But hear what? None of this matters. I'm just saying all this to get you to understand what is taking place. There are arguments on both sides of the aisle, Democratic, Republican. At the end of the day, it has been passed, okay? Republicans have pushed immigration into the spotlight during the Biden administration, highlighting that thousands of asylum seekers have attempted to cross the border into the United States of America. Texas GOP Governor Greg Abbott had put on buses and sent hundreds of migrants to cities like Chicago, New York, Washington, D.C., and other cities, straining those cities' resources in those so-called blue stronghold. You know, politics, you know, there's blue states and then there's red states. The blue states represent the Democratic Party. The red states represent the Republican Party, right? Greg Abbott, because the immigrants or the migrants, the illegal immigrants, they crossed the border, his state, Texas, through Mexico into the USA, and he just did not have enough resources, officers to sort things out. And because the Biden administration was being so lapsed about it, he said, okay, you know what? I'll gather up a bunch of buses. I'll put all of them on buses and I'll send them to those states that are blue states. Y'all can take care of them there since you want to just leave the border as it is and let all these people come in. So it's a big thing going on. Florida also saw a huge influx of migrants when hundreds of Cubans and Haitian asylum seekers landed in the Florida Keys by boats in December and in January, forcing DeSantis, which is the governor of Florida, to activate the state National Guard, which is the military backup, to respond to this. DeSantis has repeatedly pushed anti-immigration measures during his time in office, starting with a push for legislators to ban sanctuary cities and culminating with this year's comprehensive bill. The bill called the SB 178. Now, making sanctuary cities pay, making sanctuary cities hostile environment for immigrants, cutting off aid from sanctuary cities. All this stuff was first brought up as a plan for the Donald Trump administration. But of course, Donald Trump is no longer president, and Ron DeSantis is trying to run for president alongside Donald Trump, who has already announced that he himself will also be running for president of the United States again. So all Ron DeSantis did for Florida was take the same thing that Donald Trump said he would have done, and he went a step further and added a bill called the SB 178. The legislation lawmakers passed Tuesday would require medium-sized and large employers to use the federal E-Verify system to check the status of all their employees. And now, listen, if you own a business, right, and a relatively successful business, you employ a couple of people, if they run up in your business and they realize that you have people working there who are not legal in the country, the only question they will have to ask you after this is, did you use the E-Verify system to check each employee before employing them? If the answer is no, then you are in great trouble because it is a felony, right? Okay, what this SB 1718 will also do from now on is it will mandate hospitals to inquire with patients about their legal status in the country. They will also be mandated to tell these patients that, listen, you can tell us if you're not here legally. If you're here illegally, it's okay. This will not affect the level of care you will get. We just need to know, just for a need to know basis. Now, what immigrant do you think is going to, or illegal immigrant do you think is going to believe that they're asking because it is mandated by the state, but they're going to do nothing about this information? What do you think the $12 million for the program where he ships them to another state is for? Okay, I'm just saying, read between the lines. Okay, so the bill, SB 1718, it will also allow authorities to charge. Y'all got to listen to this one, because this is something that Donald Trump said while he was in office, and now Ron DeSantis is actually doing it. The SB 1718, it will also allow the authorities to charge someone with human trafficking if they are knowingly transporting an undocumented immigrant across state lines. So, in other words, Auntie Debbie is in the country illegally, or Uncle Roy is in the country illegally. You've been hiding him. You've been helping him. Stay put until you get your paperwork straight, Uncle Roy or Auntie Debbie. But your nephew is getting married in Georgia, so you have to cross Florida state lines over into Georgia. If you get caught with this individual in your car, which is a blood family member, crossing those state lines, you are now under SB 1718, involved in human trafficking. If they knowingly transport an undocumented immigrant across state lines, they are to be charged with human trafficking. It would also, this is the SB 1718. So far, listen carefully. So far, this bill, the SB 1718, it will require that if you're going to hire somebody to work at your company, at your business, you must use the E-Verify system. And if they did not come through the E-Verify system, if they are not verified citizens or permanent residents with legal documents to work, you must not hire them, or else you're committing a felony. It will also mandate the hospitals to inquire about their patients' legal status, immigration status in the country. It will also require them to tell you that, or to tell the immigrant or the patient that it does not matter if they are illegal or not, because they're not going to give the information to anybody else. They're not going to share it with ICE. They're not going to share it with the USICS. They're not going to share it with immigration authorities or law enforcement. That is what they're required to tell you. Does not mean it is what they're required to do. It's all a part of a bigger picture. The bill, the SB 1718, will also allow authorities to charge someone with human trafficking if they are knowingly transporting an undocumented immigrant across state lines. It will also prohibit an undocumented immigrant from driving a car, even if they have a driver's license from another state. Those are the rules. Here's some more information that goes along with this. According to Politico, legislators also set aside the $12 million in the bill for DeSantis administration to transport migrants from outside the state to Democratic strongholds, and agreed to roll back a measure adopted in 2014 by Republicans and signed by then Governor Rick Scott that allowed undocumented individuals to be admitted to the Florida bar. Wow. DeSantis has also called on legislators to repeal a law that allows undocumented children to qualify for in-state college tuition if they attended a Florida high school for 3 straight years. Listen, there's a law that's on the books that says some of these children, it was beyond their control. Their parents ran across the border with them. Their parents smuggled them into the country. Their parents overstayed their welcome in the United States of America with the child. The child grew up thinking they were American, only to find out when it was time to graduate high school, go off to college, or to go get a job, a little part-time job or whatever, they found out that they are in the country illegally. There were laws put in place under the Democratic Party that said if these children can prove that they have been living in the state of Florida for a number of years, then these children would qualify for in-state college tuition if they attended a Florida high school for 3 straight years or more, right? So all the kids who had gone through elementary school, junior high school, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, graduated high school, there shouldn't be a problem for them to get tuition, to access college tuition, to go to school in the state of Florida, or to go to school, period, college. DeSantis has now called for the legislators to repeal, which means to change, to pull back that particular law that allows that to happen. The measure was adopted at the urging of Scott and was sponsored by Lieutenant Governor Jeanette Nunes while she was in the state house. Now, back in February, DeSantis has said that if we want to hold the line on tuition, then you have to go to say you need to be a U.S. citizen living in Florida. But the proposal never surfaced during the session, and the Senate President Kathleen Passidomo said that she urged DeSantis to drop the idea, please, for that year. Well, they are so bent on making it hostile for illegal immigrants. They're going after their children. They're going after their help, which is their family structure, putting into laws that will charge you under human trafficking laws. Immigration advocates and other groups strongly recommend the bill, with some even calling it, they strongly condemn the bill, with some of them even calling it straight up racist and they threaten to challenge it in a court of law. However, that's not stopping it from going into full use in the state of Florida. The state of Florida Governor DeSantis' political shenanigans will force every Floridian to pay a heavy price, said Paul R. Chavez, senior supervising attorney for the Southern Poverty Law Center Action Fund. He said that this bill will push hundreds of thousands of people into the shadow, meaning they will now go into hiding, including some U.S. citizens, putting freedom and even our state's economy at risk. This cruel and unmisguided effort will negatively impact public safety and public health and cause harm to all Floridians. And I could see how, because there are going to be family members who are going to be breaking the law in a sense, because they are trying to shelter their illegal family members until they become illegal. They're trying to help them out. It is just what family does for family. Majority of people are not going to be calling ICE to turn in their family members. Therefore, you're going to be operating under laws that have now made just doing that criminal. With that said, people who are ill will now remain ill in the community. Hopefully there are no communicable diseases or diseases that don't spread easily, because if they have them and they cannot go to seek help to get rid of it, these people will be scared. If I have to go to get medical help, but I know that going to get medical help could expose me to possibly being deported or rounded up like cattle and put in some facility, then more than likely people are not going to go for help. So this is what the other side is arguing, that it is cruel, it is misguided, and this effort will definitely negatively impact safety and public health, and it will cause harm to all Floridians eventually. Republicans, however, they defend this legislation. State Representative Bernie Jacquis, a Seminole Republican who actually immigrated from Haiti when he was a child, from Haiti, he told the Democrats that he wished that they had had the same energy defending American citizens. Now, this is an immigrant that migrated from Haiti. He is now a state representative. He has climbed the ladder of success. And now that he is there, he is telling the Democratic Party, I wish y'all had the same damn energy to defend American citizens that you're using to defend immigrants. You can't make this up. This bill protects our citizens, he said. Jacques said, and this bill protects the people who are really here legally and did it the right way. People like my family, he said. You know, the funny thing is, I guarantee you that somebody in his family came across illegally first and then got themselves legal and then sent for the rest who were able to come across legally. But don't quote me. I'm just delivering the information that's out there. Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. The bill has passed. Be on the lookout. Spread the word. I'll catch y'all on the next video. I'm out of here. Peace.